Hi, ignore the video in the background because this is a very rare occasion where the video doesn't really mean anything. I'm making this video to address a couple of things that pop up in all my videos in the comments section, and I thought it was important enough to make a video addressing it all on its own. So the number one comment that I get on all of my videos, the one that comes up over and over and over again, is people saying, I don't understand how someone could live this way. And I wanted to let you know that you can't, because you really have no frame of reference. So you have to understand that hoarding is a mental illness, like a legitimate recognized mental illness. And if you don't have that specific mental illness, it's not physically possible for you to fully understand what it's like. You can empathize with the person, but you can't genuinely understand what they're going through because you have never, nor will you ever go through it. So I'm going to say that if you're genuinely interested in the subject, the first step isn't to understand the disorder. It's to have empathy and acknowledge that a part of their brain is malfunctioning and cannot be fixed without outside help. A huge part of this illness will fight back against that help, and that's the other thing that I'd like you to understand. So in most cases, hoarding is an issue of trauma versus control. So in other words, like a widow had no control over her husband's passing, but she does have control over who gets to come into her house, how she lives, what she owns. So someone entering her house and quote unquote helping out by cleaning everything suddenly feels like an invasion to the widow because the helper is taking control out of her hands and putting it into theirs. So it's not a matter of logic. It's a matter of an overwhelming mental illness that cannot be fixed without intense cognitive and behavioral therapy. It's the same with alcoholics. People say things like, that's an easy fix, just stop drinking. There's a reason that most alcoholics relapse, and the most successful rehabilitation methods involve things like group therapy, regular routine meetings, associating themselves with positive routines, befriending other people who have been successful, and share their past experiences with addiction. And the same is true for hoarders. So this is not an issue that can be solved just by cleaning the house. It's not one that can be solved by going to a specified number of meetings, satisfying a mental health checklist, and saying, congratulations, you're now cured. This is oftentimes something that they'll have to continue for many, many years in order to avoid relapsing back into their old hoarding routine. And understand that in pretty much every case, the therapy isn't about addressing the hoarding itself. The hoarding is a symptom of something way, way more traumatic and way more powerful. It's often about addressing old, extremely traumatic experiences that the hoarder was never able to address and then lay to rest on their own. That requires outside help. You can't fix a broken tool with that same broken tool. You need another tool that's functional to step in and help repair it. So the other one that I get a whole lot, is if they have the ability to throw stuff on the floor, they have the ability to throw things in the trash. And that is true from a logical, non-broken person. So I often compare it to Tourette syndrome. Tourette syndrome is involuntary tics and exclamations, and it's, again, a neuropsychological disorder. A lot of doctors say that it directly involves the nervous system. So in some of the more severe cases, it's so involuntary that it even happens while they're sleeping. So it would be the same in my eyes of someone saying if they have the ability to blurt out obscenities, then they have the ability to blurt out positive language. It's assuming the person has a choice at all. Logic doesn't play a role. In most cases, hoarders are well aware of the disconnect between logic and their current reality. They're aware of the common expectations that people have, and they're aware that they live far outside of those expectations. And many of them want to change and are extremely frustrated and angry and sad that they can't. So whenever somebody steps in to help and they have outbursts and they get really angry and they start arguing with the person who's trying to help, in most cases, they don't want to have that reaction. They want to accept the help and they just cannot get over that hump. In the same way that they know if they go into a library and have a sneezing fit, it's disruptive to everyone in the library. But they can no more stop hoarding than they could hold back that barrage of sneezes. It just happens. So we're not going to get into the complexities as to what causes hoarding, because that'd be like a 10-hour video. And no one fully understands what causes it. We're getting there, but we don't fully understand it yet. But two, we're also aware that a variety of factors show up in most hoarding cases, from past trauma to genetics to environmental factors to neuropsychological fractures. Again, it's not about understanding the mechanics of the situation or the condition. It's about recognizing that it is in fact a disorder and empathizing with the people who have it. That's the point. I'm not interested in blaming them. That's the way a child thinks. I'm not blaming them for their condition any more than I'm going to blame a depressed person for their depression. I'm interested in helping them. And the way that I can help them is to come in and physically, mechanically clear the things out for the people who want the help, who ask for it and are able to step away, and they're ready for that time in their life to accept the help. I will not ever help a person who fights me the whole way because they are not ready for that help yet. Those are the people who need a lot of therapy before they even pick up the first piece of trash. And the trash is an important part because a lot of people see the trash on the floor and they say, that's not hoarding, that's just people being lazy and filthy. Again, that's a complete misunderstanding of what you're dealing with. If this was a person without a mental illness, you would be absolutely correct. But the people that I help aren't people that just say, screw it, I'm going to throw my crap on the floor and walk away. These are all people who have had severe traumas in their lives. They show every single symptom and check mark of hoarding. I understand that I'm not giving crap to the people who don't understand this. Like, why would you understand it unless you've purposely gone out and researched it and all that? I'm just saying that as long as I have this channel and these are the people that I'm helping, I want you to at least have the ability to be empathetic to some of their plights. You don't have to understand it, but blaming these people for their issues is counterproductive. I'm not going to go and excuse their behavior or their illness or anything like that. That's not my job, as much as it's not your job to blame them for it. These people have nothing to do with your life whatsoever. But I at least want you to know that there is a reason for their actions and the way that they live, and fixing that takes a massive amount of time and effort that goes way, way, way beyond cleaning. Anyway, thanks for listening to me ramble. I have things to do this weekend, so I'm not cleaning a hoarder house. As you can see, I'm just dealing with my plants and stuff while I have an extra hour open. I'll be back next Saturday, and if you haven't subscribed, please do, because we're so close to getting our first YouTube plaque. That's crazy. I think the last time I checked, it was at something like 85 or 87,000 subscribers. That's unbelievable. And if you want more than just my regular weekly videos, I do have a members only section. Just look for the join button, and there's like 100 to 110 of us in there right now, and that's also crazy. So suck it. I'll see you all next weekend. Have an awesome week, because if you don't, I'll be there to drop a DDT on every last one of you. Later.